we have a financial assistance from the European Union, quite a generous one, and which is proving to be quite useful in times of budgetary restrictions. As you know, the budget has been cut due to COVID this year. So the EU is quite interested in the human rights situation in Mauritius and assists all countries in promoting and the respect for human rights. It's also, as I've said, very important to meet senior police officers because you are persons in authority, you are persons who have a wide experience, and not only is it important that you should know about human rights, and I assume that many of you are already familiar with human rights, but we also need your assistance to impart human rights and impart the notions of human rights to your junior officers, to the recruits who join the force. And we know you have quite a difficult task, sometimes in maintaining the rule of law, in preserving law and order in any kind of situation. But at the same time, this is done in full respect of human rights. The issue of LGBTI, as I've said, is an important one. As you know, in our criminal code, sodomy is considered to be a criminal offense, but it's rather unfortunate that in the criminal code, sodomy is put at the same level as bestiality. So this is a vestige, a relic from colonial times, and in fact, the former British Prime Minister, Theresa May, has said that she's quite sorry that this kind of relic or inheritance of what was transferred to colonies when in drafting the criminal code. As you know, our own criminal code dates from 1838 with all the various amendments that have been made to the code. But in Europe, in England, Britain is no longer a member of the EU, but now there is this move to make people understand the LGBTI issues, and there are even many active NGOs in Europe, in England, which are promoting, well, not promoting LGBTI itself, but making people understand more about this, the LGBTI rights. So this is widely acknowledged now as well, I must say not in the whole world, because on the African continent there is some resistance to accepting that LGBTI is part of the modern world. It's not that people are LGBTI because they want to be so, but because it's because of certain biological traits. And in fact, when COVID came, many people have been watching Netflix, and I don't know whether you watch a series called The Modern Family in Netflix, which refers to a modern family where a gay couple is part of a modern family. So it is something that is accepted and which is quite common. And over the years, the LGBT has been there. There are many competent people, many famous politicians, famous prime ministers, famous leaders who've been gay people without other people objecting to it. So this is accepted. I was talking about relics of colonial goods, etc. And this reminds me, by the way, also of the offense of rogue and vagabond, which we have inherited from colonial times. And now, if somebody is in your yard, it means that he's a rogue and vagabond, and this is what he is arrested for. So every year, I welcome a rogues and vagabonds who come to steal my lychees. I don't report it to the police because there are so many issues that I will share them with roots and vagabonds as well as bats. So this is one example of an offence which is still on in our criminal legislation. So I repeat that this is we have an interesting program where we'll talk about our activities. Every year we publish an annual report, so we'll come back to this. You've been given an executive summary of the report. There's one report that has been given to you, which is the annual report of 2018. And now again, with budgetary restrictions, it's becoming difficult to publish an annual report in hard copy. So we've got CDs, but I'm told now even computers don't have CD players. So maybe we'll try. Anyway, try to find an old computer which can play our CD on which the annual report is. But we have an executive summary which is quite useful and which you can use. So I hope this meeting will be quite a direction, and I shall now call on His Excellency to address you on this, to give his address this morning. Thank you.
Bon, bien content, moi, avec Zod Azordi, pour l'ouverture, ça, séminaire, là, l'Européenne. Droit humain et application à la loi, organisé par Commission nationale droits de l'homme. On profite de l'occasion pour féliciter le président Commission nationale droits de l'homme, ex-l'équipe, pour l'organisation de sa workshop-là, dans le contexte d'un projet pour la promotion droits humains dans la République Maurice. Et vous m'excuserez, mais je vais switcher, si je puis dire, à la langue de Shakespeare. Voilà, je ne sais pas la langue de Molière, c'est la langue de Shakespeare que je dirais ce matin. I'm equally very pleased, ladies and gentlemen, dear policemen and policewomen, to see so many police officers attending this workshop today. The theme to be discussed today, namely non-discrimination, is key to your daily work. As law enforcers in the field, you come across a large diversity of stakeholders. Therefore, you are or will be coming across two concepts that are at the heart of modern human rights society and human rights-based policing as well, namely equality and non-discrimination. And this can be, in fact, very, very challenging for you in your daily work. We have all seen the worldwide emotion and movement created by the death of George Floyd, which generated the global movement Black Lives Matter against racism around the world. I am sure you all have heard about it if you not have seen the videos on the social networks. Here in Mauritius, we have the chance to live in a peaceful, multicultural society, but to maintain this achievement, the respect of every individual remains essential. Today's workshop aims precisely to discuss and sensitize you on how to apply these principles of non-discrimination when dealing with various diverse groups, of which, in particular, as the President just said, LGBTI persons and elderly persons. The European Union, for its part, is committed to eliminate all forms of discrimination within its borders and also to work with our partners across the world so that all may enjoy human rights and fundamental freedoms without restrictions and exceptions. But of course, as you may imagine, this is not an easy task, an easy target, and we face challenges and difficulties along this road. Therefore, we need to reinforce the legal framework as a starting point. The Charter of Fundamental Rights of the European Union clearly provides for non-discrimination based on the following grounds, which I will want to enumerate with you to show the large diversities of discriminations that can exist. There are about 12 of them, and I will go over the 12 points if you allow me. The first one is, of course, sex, being human, being a man or woman, is the first part of discrimination. The second one will be race and color of the skin. Again, I don't need to explain that. I think it's quite obvious for everyone. There's what we call, for instance, in France, délit faciès, which is part of the debate on this issue. The third issue will be disability, persons with disability, which suffer also discrimination. The fourth one will be the age, either whether you are an elderly person and can be discriminated because of your age, or because you are a young person that will be maybe more checked with more control, identity and so on, which can apply in that context. Fifth issue would be the sexual orientation, and you will have a long debate, I think, on this subject later in the course of this morning. The sixth possibility of discrimination will be the ethnic and social origin. So this targets basically the more vulnerable part of the society, which lives often in poverty, so the milieu défavorisé, as I would say in French. The seventh ground would be genetic future. This is, for instance, people who suffer from a disability, Down syndrome, what we call in France, Mongolisme, for instance, could be one example of that discrimination. The eighth possible discrimination is the language, because sometimes people do not speak the same language, they may be foreigners, they don't understand, so this can be part also of the discrimination point. The ninth element could be religion and belief. Those who believe, those who don't believe, this can be also part of the discrimination process in some societies. There are also minorities, religious minorities, such as Jews, as we have had during our Second World War in Europe, of course. This has been the worst discrimination that one can imagine of. The 10th possible discrimination would be on political and other opinions. The 11th one would be on membership of a national minority. Again, if I refer to World War II in Europe, we had the extermination that was applied by the Nazis on the Rom and the Tzigans in that context. And finally, property, the sans domicile fixe, the SDF, or as well the scatters, squatters, as we have it also here in Mauritius these days, which is a difficult also point and a source of possible discrimination. So to make all this a reality, all member states of the European Union have the obligation to work under the non-discrimination law. They need to do three things. The first thing is to protect against discrimination at the legislative level, so this is the work of the government and the parliament, essentially, to make administrative and police measures effective for an effective protection against discrimination, so that's the application of the law, the translation of the law into administrative measures in that respect. And finally, and this is largely your duty here, to respect equality. This means that the executive and judicial powers must apply the law in a non-discriminatory manner. In the policing context, this principle of equality before the law is therefore of particular importance. The human rights obligation to take effective action to protect against discrimination, such as taking actions against hate crimes, is increasingly seen as crucial for the fight against discrimination. Indeed, the police is required to carry out their task in a fair manner, guided in particular by the principle of impartiality and non-discrimination. And we all know that the code of ethics of the Mauritius police force, which you have to obey to, of course, includes the upholding of fundamental human rights, treating every person as an individual and display respect and compassion towards them. So this is the duty that you are facing in the field and what you have to achieve. I note with appreciation that the police has been trained on several occasions on human rights-based approach. I would like to thank the Deputy Commissioner with us today for his presence and also for all of you being with us for this training course in that respect. There are still some areas where discrimination can sometimes persist across the world and also here in Mauritius. I refer in particular, as the chair has been doing it before, on the LGBTI persons and also on elderly, as well as discrimination that is based on gender. It is important to highlight that protecting LGBTI persons from discrimination does not mean the creation of a new set of LGBT-specific rights, nor does it require the establishment of new international human rights standards. It simply requires the application of the principles of protection of human dignity, non-discrimination and privacy to all individuals, including of course, LGBTI persons. There should also be equal rights for all and no special rights for LGBTI persons. In the same way, there should be equal rights for women, There should be equal rights for elderly people. There should be equal rights for disabled people as well. This is why we are today gathered here, and we are working with the National Human Rights Commission since 3 years, I think, since 2017. So it's already a long way that we have been working together to promote the respect of human rights. More than 10,000 people have been trained so far. This is quite an achievement. Congratulations to you, Mr. Chair, and to all your team for this great achievement. And the workshop today is being done with the same objective. This action today follows up from the forum that was organized in December 2018, where we brought together politicians, policymakers, NGOs to discuss the issues of non-discrimination for LGBTI persons. I would like to thank again the Chairperson of the National Human Rights Commission and all of its team for their commitment and excellent work. I would like also to underline and to thank the Young Queer Alliance and the collective Arc-en-Ciel for their participation as resource persons today. You will have debate with them. They will explain their case as representative of the civil society. They are frontliners when it comes to witnessing acts of discrimination. They are the best placed and the best possible position to testify of real situation, and by that to sensitize you, the law enforcers, on how to act on non-discrimination law. This can certainly be a very interesting and active debate with you. I would like to express also my deep appreciation for the police forces, for all of you that are here today, for your engagement, your willingness to participate in this session. It shows your commitment to the human rights-based approach here in Mauritius. I'm pleased also today to see the two tools of promotion of human rights. I think we will have a short word in a few minutes about two tools that have been promoted and created by the Human Rights Commission. I will leave it to the chairperson to explain what it means and what it is. Gauthier a envie, nous continuer le travail ensemble, nous, tout, qui la banne l'autorité et la société civile, pour nous éliminer toute discrimination. Nous remercier les autres tous et souhaiter un bon séminaire. Merci.